Have you ever gazed into your dog's eyes and felt a strange, profound sense of knowing? A feeling that they understand more than they could ever show, that they perceive the currents of your emotions before you've even spoken a word. Have you ever witnessed them anticipate an event or comfort you at the precise moment your spirit felt a crack? If you have, understand this. What you are experiencing is not mere coincidence, nor is it simply your imagination. It is a sacred and ancient prophecy unfolding in your very own home. This is a divine sign that you are not alone, that you are deeply connected to a web of consciousness far greater than you can imagine. If this message resonates deep within your soul, if you've ever felt that your four-legged companion is a guardian in disguise, then you have found your tribe. Acknowledge this connection by liking this video and subscribe to become part of a community that understands these profound truths. And in the comments below, share your story. Simply type, "My dog is my guardian," or "I feel this," to affirm your experience and let others know they are not alone in this beautiful awakening. The truth of what is happening on our planet right now is more extraordinary than you could ever believe, and it begins with the silent, loving gaze of your best friend. When man steps away from the noise of the world, he will hear the silent call of those on all fours, for they carry the vibration of unconditional love. These are the powerful words of Edgar Cayce, a man known to millions as the Sleeping Prophet. But who was this enigmatic figure, and why do his words, uttered nearly a century ago, hold the key to a profound spiritual transformation affecting every dog and every dog owner on this planet today? To understand the weight of his forgotten prophecy, we must first understand the man. Edgar Cayce was not born into a lineage of mystics or seers. He was a humble man from Kentucky, a photographer by trade, with nothing more than an 8th grade education. By all outward appearances, he was an ordinary man. Yet, within him lay an extraordinary, almost unbelievable gift. By simply lying down on a couch and entering a self-induced trance, a state of deep sleep, Cayce could transcend the limitations of his conscious mind. He could tap into what he called the universal consciousness, or the Akashic records, a vast cosmic library of all knowledge, holding the records of every soul's journey, every event past, present and future. Between the years 1901 and 1944, this unassuming man gave over 14,000 documented readings while in his trance state. He diagnosed illnesses in people he had never met, sometimes located thousands of miles away, prescribing treatments that proved remarkably effective, often baffling the medical community of his time. His accuracy was so staggering, so consistently precise, that it defied all statistical probability. This was not guesswork, it was a connection to a higher source of information. He predicted, with chilling precision, the stock market crash of 1929, 3 years before it happened, describing exactly how the panic selling would unfold, and even warning specific individuals to withdraw their investments. He foresaw both world wars in remarkable detail, naming the countries that would be involved and describing pivotal battles that had not yet even been conceived. He spoke of the discovery of the ancient Essene community and the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, decades before archaeologists would unearth them near Qumran. He described technologies that sounded like pure science fiction to his contemporaries. In the 1920s, he spoke of a light that cuts through matter, a vision that wouldn't become a reality until the invention of laser technology 40 years later. Even more astoundingly, in the 1930s, he described a global network of talking machines that would instantly connect all human minds, a clear and undeniable prophecy of the Internet, decades before the first computer was even built. The sheer volume and proven accuracy of Cayce's prophecies establish his credibility not as a mere fortune-teller, but as a genuine conduit for divine wisdom. And this is precisely why we must now turn our attention to one of his most overlooked, yet perhaps most important prophecies, a prediction that seemed so unusual, so specific, and so seemingly impossible that for decades, even his most devoted followers largely dismissed it. Buried deep within his vast archive of readings was a prophecy not about world events, natural disasters, or technological marvels, but about our closest animal companions, dogs. This was not just a casual mention. It was a detailed, multi-layered prophecy describing a profound spiritual transformation of the entire canine species, a grand awakening that is not set in some distant, far-off future, but is happening right now. He declared that this transformation would begin exactly when humanity entered what he called the time of great awakening, a period of intense crisis and unprecedented spiritual opportunity. A period that, with terrifying accuracy, perfectly matches the global turmoil, the planetary shifts, and the collective spiritual yearning of our current moment. What Edgar Cayce saw in his trance state was not just a simple change in animal behavior. He witnessed a divinely orchestrated evolution, an activation of dormant spiritual capacities within dogs, designed specifically to guide and support humanity through its greatest transformation. He outlined this canine awakening in three distinct, progressive waves. The first wave, he predicted, would manifest as dogs developing an extraordinary sensitivity to biological and energetic information. They would become, in essence, living, breathing diagnostic instruments. Think about the stories we've all heard, stories that are now being validated by science. Dogs who can smell cancer cells long before medical equipment can detect them. Dogs who can predict seizures in their owners, giving them precious moments to find safety. Dogs who can sense a drop in blood sugar in a diabetic child from another room. Cayce saw that this was not just a trained skill, but an innate, awakening ability. They are not just smelling chemical changes, they are perceiving the subtle shifts in the body's energetic field, the very vibration of illness and imbalance. They are becoming early warning systems, not just for physical ailments, but for emotional and environmental dangers as well. They are the guardians who sense a threat before it arrives, the healers who feel our pain before we even acknowledge it ourselves. The second wave of this evolution, as foreseen by Cayce, would be even more remarkable. The establishment of direct, mind-to-mind, telepathic communication between dogs and their human companions. This is not about simple commands or basic emotions. Cayce described a profound dissolution of the perceived barrier between human and canine consciousness, creating a shared field of awareness. This would allow for the transmission of complex information, detailed plans, concerns, and even abstract concepts. The great biologist and researcher Dr. Rupert Sheldrake dedicated his career to studying these unexplained phenomena, documenting over 4,000 cases of apparent telepathic communication between pets and their owners. His most famous case involved a fox terrier named JT, whose owner, Pam Smart, worked irregular hours as a freelance consultant. Her schedule was completely unpredictable, yet through controlled experiments with cameras installed in the home, Sheldrake revealed something that shattered our conventional understanding of animal cognition. JT would unerringly position himself at the window to wait for Pam at the exact moment she decided to come home. Not when she started her car, not when she was a certain distance away, but when the thought, "time to go home," first formed in her mind. They were separated by miles, with no sensory clues possible, yet their minds were connected. Sheldrake explains that their consciousness seemed to operate as a unified field, sharing information instantaneously across space. This is the living proof of Cayce's second-wave prophesier reality, where love creates a bond so strong that it transcends the known laws of physics. The third and most profound wave of the canine awakening, according to Cayce's visions, is the one that is beginning to crest right now, in our homes and in our hearts. He described dogs evolving into what he called energy alchemists. These are beings capable of not just perceiving energy, but actively absorbing, transmuting, and purifying it. This ability extends far beyond simple emotional support. It is an active, energetic intervention in our physical and spiritual reality. Cayce saw these awakened canines as spiritual guardians who would cleanse homes of residual trauma and negative emotional imprints left behind by past events. They would neutralize the emotional toxins that accumulate in families, the unspoken grief, the lingering anger, the persistent anxiety, and serve as living conduits for divine healing energy that flows from the higher realms. Where there is pain, they will absorb it. Where there is darkness, they will transform it into light. Where there is separation, they will weave connection. They are becoming, quite literally, four-legged healers, masters of energy who work with a precision that can surpass even human practitioners, guided by an instinctual understanding of energy flow and transformation. They are here to stabilize the energetic grid of our homes and, by extension, the planet itself. So how can you recognize if your own beloved dog is a part of this prophetic awakening? According to animal communication experts who have spent decades studying these enhanced abilities, there are specific signs that indicate your pet may be demonstrating the very abilities Cayce predicted. The key is to look for patterns of behavior that go far beyond what we consider normal animal instinct. First, observe your dog's emotional detection abilities. Does your pet seem to appear beside you at the exact moment you're feeling sad, anxious, or distressed, even if you're in another room trying to hide your emotions? Do they seem to know about your bad days before you're even consciously aware of them yourself? This suggests a profound telepathic sensitivity to your emotional state, a clear hallmark of Cayce's second wave. True emotional telepathy often manifests as behavioral changes in your dog that uncannily precede your own conscious awareness of your emotional shifts. They are responding to feelings you haven't yet fully acknowledged in yourself. Second, monitor their predictive behaviors. Does your dog become restless, agitated, or start whining for no apparent reason right before an unexpected visitor arrives, or just before you receive an important phone call? Do they ever position themselves protectively around certain family members who, days or weeks later, are diagnosed with a health issue? Or do they refuse to enter certain rooms or areas of your home that later prove to have structural problems, electrical faults, or other issues? These behaviors are not random. They are signs of precognitive abilities, a response to probability fields and potential futures that haven't yet manifested in our physical reality. Your dog is sensing the energetic blueprint of an event before it solidifies into our timeline. Third, watch for what can only be described as healing behaviors. Does your dog have a favorite spot to rest that also happens to be the place in your home where you feel most peaceful and relaxed? Do they often lay a paw or rest their head on a part of your body where you experience chronic pain or discomfort? Do visitors frequently comment on how unusually calm, peaceful, or welcoming your home feels specifically when your dog is present? This is the manifestation of the third wave energy healing. Your dog is acting as a living generator of peace and wellness, an energetic filter. They are instinctually identifying and clearing areas of negative or stagnant energy, and their very presence becomes a form of medicine, facilitating healing at levels deeper than conventional medicine can often reach. And finally, consider the synchronicity of their arrival in your life. Do you feel that your dog found you at the perfect time, appearing just when you needed them most? Did they come to you through a series of remarkable coincidences that feel too meaningful to be accidental? Awakened dogs don't just happen to end up with people. They actively and consciously select their human partners. They are drawn to individuals and families who are on the cusp of their own spiritual awakening, souls who are ready for the profound lessons they have to teach. They appear in our lives through circumstances that feel orchestrated by a higher intelligence because they are. As you begin to observe your four-legged companion through this new lens of understanding, remember that you may be witnessing one of the most extraordinary phenomena in the history of consciousness evolution. Edgar Cayce's forgotten prophecy is not just being fulfilled, it is revealing profound truths about the very nature of existence. It is showing us that consciousness can evolve rapidly in response to necessity, that love is indeed the most powerful, tangible force in the universe, and that we are all part of an interconnected web of awareness that extends far beyond anything modern science has yet acknowledged. Your best friend, the one sleeping at your feet right now, may actually be your greatest spiritual teacher, quietly demonstrating the unlimited potential that awaits humanity when we finally remember who we really are and what we are truly capable of when we are guided by unconditional love. The question is no longer whether this transformation is real. The evidence is overwhelming and undeniable. The real question is whether you are ready to recognize your dog as the profound spiritual guide they have always been, and whether you are prepared to learn what they are here to teach you about love, consciousness, and the magnificent mystery of existence itself. In a world where ancient prophecies are coming true through the loving eyes of our household companions, perhaps it's time to consider that magic isn't something we've lost. It's something we are finally ready to remember.